day, grade 10 students. Today we're going to continue our lesson in Afro-Latin and popular music. Please take down notes and listen carefully. Popular music literally means music of the populace, which is similar to traditional folk music of the past. As it developed in the 20th century, pop music generally consists of music for entertainment of large number of people, whether on radio or in live performances. Popular music is music with wide appeal that is typically distributed to large audiences through the music industry. These forms and styles can be enjoyed and performed by people with little or no musical training. Although popular music is sometimes known as pop music, the two terms are not interchangeable. Popular music is a generic term for a wide variety of genres of music that appeal to the taste of a large segment of population, whereas pop music usually refers to a specific musical genre within popular music. Popular music songs and pieces typically have easily singable melodies. The song structure of popular music commonly involves repetition of sections with the verse and chorus or refrain repeating throughout the song, and the bridge providing a contrasting and transitional section within a piece. Ballads originated as an expressive folk song in narrative verse dealing typically about love. The word is derived from both medieval French chanson ballade and ballad, which refers to a dancing song. It was used by poets and composers since the 18th century until it became a slow, popular love song in the 19th century. Today, the term ballad refers to a love song in a slightly pop or rock styles. And in other words, ballad simply means a slow love song or a song that tells a story. So, ballad has also the following variations. Number one, we have blues ballads. Blues ballads, a fusion of Anglo-American and Afro-American styles from the 19th century that deals with the anti-heroes resisting authority. The form of the form emphasizes the character of the performer more than the narrative content, and it is accompanied by a banjo or a guitar. The term blues ballads is used to refer to a specific form of popular music na pinaghalong Anglo-American and Afro-American styles. Early versions combined elements of European influenced Native American ballad with the forms of African music. So from the 20th century on, it was also used to refer to a slow tempo, often sentimental song in a blues style. So the first blues ballads tended to deal with active protagonists, often anti-heroes, resisting adversity and authority, often in the context of industrialization. They usually lack the strong narrative common in European ballads and emphasize instead individual character. Blues ballads are usually anonymously authored and were performed by both black and white musicians in the early 20th century. Pop standard and jazz ballads, a blues style built from a single verse of 16 bars ending on a dominant or half cadence followed by a refrain or chorus part of 16 or 32 bars in AABA form. The B section acts as the bridge and the piece normally ends with a brief coda. So when you search the internet, ang nagpapakita po doon is sentimental ballad. So it is an emotional style of music that often deals with romantic and intimate relationships and to a lesser extent loneliness, death, war, drug abuse, politics, and religion, usually in a poignant but solemn manner. Ballads are generally melodic enough to get the listener's attention. We also have pop and rock ballads, an emotional love song with suggestions of folk music. This style is sometimes applied to strophic story songs. Some enduring pop standard and jazz ballads include The Man I Love by George Gershwin, Always by Irving Berlin, and In a Sentimental Mood by Duke Ellington. So, pop ballad is a form of slow love song prevalent in nearly all genres of popular music. These pop and rock ballads also applies strophic or verse repeating. So when we say strophic, um, it is also called verse repeating form or chorus form. It is a song form or one part song form. It is a song structure in which all verses or stanzas of the text are sung to the same music. In music, the term standard is used to denote the most popular and enduring songs from a particular genre or style. Its style is mostly in a slow or moderate tempo with a relaxed mood. It features a highly singable melodies within the range and technical capacity of the listeners. So, in music, a standard is a musical composition of established popularity, considered part of the standard repertoire of one or several genres. Even though the standard repertoire of a given genre consists of a dynamic and partly subjective set of songs, this can be identified by having been performed or recorded by a variety of musical acts, often with different arrangements. In addition, standards are extensively quoted by other works and commonly serve as the basis for musical improvisation. Standards may cross over from one genre repertoire to another's. For example, many jazz standards have entered the pop repertoire, and many blues standards have entered the rock repertoire. Among the foremost proponents of this style was Frank Sinatra, also known as All Blue Eyes, chairman of the board or The Voice. His genre was categorized as traditional pop. Aside from being a successful singer, he was also an actor, a producer, director, and a conductor. His hit singles include My Way and Strangers in the Night. Next, we have Nat King Cole. Although an accomplished pianist, he owes most of his popular musical fame to his soothing baritone voice, which he used to perform in big band, vocal jazz, swing, traditional pop, and jump blues genres. He was the first Black American to host his own television show and maintain worldwide popularity over 40 years past his death. He is widely considered one of the most important musical personalities in the United States history. His hit songs include Unforgettable, Mona Lisa, and Too Young. We also have Matt Monro. He was an English singer who became one of the most popular entertainers in the international music scenes during the 1960s. Throughout his 30-year career, he filled cabarets, nightclubs, music balls, and stages around the world. Among his hit singles were Portrait of My Love, Softly as I Leave You, and the James Bond theme From Russia with Love, Born Free, which became his signature song, and Walk Away. Next, we have rock and roll. Rock and roll is a combination of Afro American forms such as the blues, jump blues, jazz, and gospel music with the western swing and country music. The lead instruments were the piano and saxophone and were eventually replaced by modern instruments. This form came during the age when electric guitars and were supplemented by amplifiers and microphones to raise the volume. Its name derived from the motion of a ship on the ocean, rock and roll. Rock and roll had a polarizing influence on lifestyles, fashion, attitude, and language. It is often depicted in movies, fan magazines, and on television. So rock and roll may have contributed to civil rights movement because both African American and white American teenagers enjoyed the music. So but then in the earliest rock and roll styles, um, either piano or saxophone was typically the lead instruments. So but then on uh, as the years go by, in the late 1950s, these instruments were replaced by guitar that is accompanied by amplifiers and microphones. So after the mid 1950s, electric bass guitars and drum kits became popular in classic rock. The greatest exponent of the rock and roll style was the legendary Elvis Presley. His hit songs such as Heartbreak Hotel and Blue Suede Shoes were complemented by his good looks and elaborate movements that included hanging or hugging the microphone as he sang. He is also regarded as one of the most significant cultural icons of the 20th century and is often referred to as the king of rock and roll or simply the king. His energized interpretations of songs and sexually provocative performance styles combined with a singular potent mix of influences across color lines during a transformative era in race relations led him to be both great success and initial controversy. Presley's style was the precursor of that British band known as the Beatles, whose compositions further boosted rock and roll as the favorite genre of the times. The group, whose best known lineup comprised John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, are regarded as the most influential band of all time. Another form of pop music is known as disco, rose in 70s. This type of music pertained to rock music that was more danceable, thus leading to the establishment of venues from public dancing called discos. The term originated from the French word discothèque, which means a library of for phonograph records. The disco style had a soaring and reverberating sound rhythmically controlled by a steady beat for ease of dancing, and it was accompanied by strings, horns, electric guitars, and electric pianos or synthesizers. Parallel with the disco era, pop music superstars continued to emerge. Among them were Diana Ross and the Supremes, who sang Stop in the Name of Love. Of course, we have Olivia Newton John, Elton John, the Carpenters, and of course, pop superstars like Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, and Bruno Mars, and of course, um, many more. Perhaps the most popular solo performer of all time is Michael Joseph Jackson, who was born on August 29, 1958, and died on June 25, 2009. He was an American recording artist, entertainer, singer-songwriter, record producer, musical arranger, dancer, choreographer, actor, businessman, and philanthropist. He was also referred to as the King of Pop. Jackson's 1982 album Thriller remains the world's best-selling album of all time. He was also known to popularize the dance techniques such as robot and the moonwalk. His distinctive musical sound and the vocal style influenced many contemporary R&B, pop music, and hip hop artists across several generations worldwide. Today's pop music idols, as the 21st century continues to unfold, more and more pop music idols emerge, spanning an entire range of musical styles and genres. There are music groups like BTS, Blackpink, Black Eyed Peas, My Chemical Romance, and Maroon 5. And we also have other solo performers, which includes Adele, Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, Chris Brown, and Rihanna. Hip hop is a stylized, highly rhythmic type of music that usually includes portions of rhythmically chanted words called rap. Rap is characterized by the artist speaking along with an instrumental or synthesized beat. it has evolved into a subculture that encompasses music like rapping, DJing, scratching, and beatboxing. This is a genre of popular music developed in the United States by the inner city African Americans and Latino Americans in the Bronx borough of the New York City in 1970s. Um, it developed as a part of hip hop culture, a subculture defined by the four key stylistic elements like what I have mentioned earlier. While often used to refer solely to rapping, hip hop more properly denotes the practice of the entire subculture. The term hip hop music is sometimes used synonymously with the term rap music, though rapping is not a required component of hip hop music. The genre may also incorporate other elements of sub hip hop culture, including turntablism and instrumental tracks. Now let us proceed to the Philippine pop music or the Philippine popular music. The one word that comes to mind when we think of contemporary Philippine music is the type commonly known as original Pinoy music, original Philippine music, or OPM for short. The term was originally used to refer only to Philippine pop songs, particularly ballads, such as those popular after the fading of its predecessor, the Manila Sound, in the late 1970s. In the 1960s to 1970s, Nora Honor, Eddie Peregrina, Victor Wood, Apo Hiking Society, and others were highly popular OPM singers. And then noong 1970s to 1980s, the major commercial Philippine pop music artists were Claire de la Fuente, Rico Puno, Ryan Cayabyab, Freddy Aguilar, Eva Eugenio, and many more. The original Filipino music was regarded as the golden era of Philippine ballads. Among the classics that emerged were those created by Ryan Cayabyab, George Canseco, Willie Cruz, Jose Marie Chan, who sang Beautiful Girl and Please Be Careful with My Heart. And also we have Gary Valenciano. Pop music in the Philippines started as an adaptation or translation, if not complete imitation, of Western hits. It started with Bobby Gonzalez's Hahabol Habol, or in English, Hot Pursuit, a local version of the rock and roll songs of the 1950s. And we also have Rico J. Puno's Loneta, a local adaptation of The Way We Were. This immediately clicked with the youth and eventually gained wide acceptance even among the burgess or the elite crowd. Next, we have Philippine jazz. Um, in the Philippines, there is a famous clan wherein they usually play jazz music, and this is the Katindig clan. Philippine musicians have also inspired by jazz music. Among them are the jazz pianist and recording artist Boy Katindig, who comes from the well-known clan of musicians that includes jazz piano legend Romy Katindig and saxophonist Eddie Katindig. The Katindig family pioneered Latin jazz in Manila. Other notable jazz musicians include Lito Molina, Angel Peña, Emil Mijares, and internationally known jazz pianist Bobby Enriquez. Next, we have Philippine rock. So, the year 1973 saw the birth of Philippine or Pinoy rock music, which successfully merged the rock beat with Filipino lyrics. This new sound was introduced by the legendary Juan de la Cruz Band with their song Ang Himig Natin, which had its members Joey Pepe Smith, Wally Gonzalez, and the originator of Jeff Rock's Mike Hanopol, who later became a major symbol of Pinoy rock. Philippine rock became as diverse as the rock music genre itself, and bands adopting this style are now further classified under more specific genres or combination of genres like alternative rock, ethnic, new wave, pop rock, funk, reggae, and so on. Because these genres are generally considered to fall under the broad rock music category, Pinoy rock may be more specifically defined as rock music with Filipino cultural sensibilities. So we also have um, other early exponents of Philippine rock aside from the Juan de la Cruz band. You also have the band Maria Cafra, and then we have Sampaguita, and we also have the folk rock singer Herbert Bartolome and his Banyu High Band, whose song express strong messages for nationalism. Continuing this legacy of Pinoy rock today are vocal groups and bands that includes River Maya, The Dawn, True Faith, Eraserheads, Wolfgang, Sponge Cola, and others. Next, we have Philippine alternative folk music. The Philippines also saw the rise of alternative folk music, which was different from the traditional and popular form. This new form combined ethnic instrumentation with electronic accompaniment while presenting themes or issues of society and the environment. The traditional music of the Philippines, like the folk music of other countries, reflects the life of common, mostly rural Filipinos. Like their counterparts in Asia, many traditional songs from the Philippines have a strong connection with nature. However, it employs the diatonic scale rather than the more Asian pentatonic scale, with the exception of indigenous people ritual music. Some composers who championed this style were Joey Ayala, Grace Nono, Edru Abraham of Contragapi, and of course we also have Freddie Aguilar, who is best known for his song Anak, Yoyoy Villame, the composer of Magellan, Florante, the composer of Ako'y Isang Pinoy, and of course, uh, Gary Granada, the composer of Kabayani. The Philippines is known to have had the first hip hop music scene in Asia since the early 1980s, largely due to the country's historical connections with the United States, where hip hop originated. Rap music released in the Philippines has appeared in different languages or dialects such as Tagalog, Chavacano, Ilocano, Bicolano, and English. In the Philippines, rap was also made popular by such composers and performers as Francis Magalona, who performed Mga Kababayan Ko and Watawat. And we also have Andrew E., who sang Humanap Ka ng Pangit. Francis Magalona is also known as Francis M., or Master Rapper, and the Man from Manila. He was a Filipino rapper, songwriter, producer, actor, director, television host, and photographer. He is often hailed as the king of Pinoy rap and considered a legend in the Philippine music community. Magalona was the first Filipino rapper to cross over to the mainstream. He is also credited for having pioneered the merging of rap with Pinoy rock, becoming a significant influence on artists in that genre as well. Clearly, diversity of styles and forms was a major characteristic of 20th century music, as it continues to be today for 21st century music. The range spans the enduring works of the classical masters to the folk, country, and western, jazz, pop, rock and roll, rap, and hip hop music of contemporary artists. In effect, there is something for every musical taste, interest, and preferences. In terms of the development of the Philippine contemporary music, all these forms have provided a rich and diverse musical background for its composers and performers to draw from and build upon. From its pre Spanish roots through the Spanish and American periods up to the present, Philippine music has since evolved to have its own distinct identity. So, for your output in this lesson, please comment down below your learnings and reflections that you have gained in this lesson.